We're finally doing it! We're going to enjoy a game featuring the 2018 World Champion, the player with more WCS points than any other, and it's not even close. He literally lives at the top of the Ligulac rating system. That's like where you find his couch and toothbrush. Let me put it this way. When Chuck Norris needs to get inspired, he looks at a poster of this guy. He is Serral! Oh my goodness. Even our hardcore warhorn sound is unworthy. So what about this poor dude? In the upper left, also playing Zerg, it's Serral Victim 19,874! Even the warhorn is afraid for this poor dude. Actually, his name is Denver, and I give him mad props for even trying this. He's actually a super solid Zerg pro from France. But today, he's roadkill. He can put this in the win column if he manages to, maybe get his first queen out. I mean, this whole idea is pretty ridiculous. With Serral, how can you even comment or criticize anything he does? If Serral wants to build 0 units and attack his opponents with spore colonies, then that's how it's supposed to be done. If you think that's wrong, it's because you obviously don't understand the brilliance behind it. If Serral wants to move command all his queens and have them jog circles around his opponent's base, then that is precisely what is called for. You don't like his Viper Rush? Then I say good day to you, sir! I say good day! Serral does none of those things, of course, because he's too busy winning. So then, rather than just keep going on about my inadequacies, I'm just gonna hotkey a sound effect from Wayne's World.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Thanks, guys. We've got both players going super standard here, starting with that Overlord to Hatchery to Extractor spawning pool. And so we then should see another Overlord, and then 2 Zerglings and 2 Queens. Pretty much exactly at the 2-minute mark. And even though they're doing the exact same thing, somehow Serral does it microscopically faster. How?
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
So we'll be watching very carefully for the first slightest sign of differentiation. And since we're not seeing any, maybe I'll just take a quick moment to mention we're on the map Ephemeron, which is characterized by a series of bridges which compartmentalize off parts of the map. And in a game of microscopic edges, somehow Serral starts his Zergling speed just 1 second faster. As the Zerglings pop out, they immediately stream towards each other's base, super keen to tear each other apart. Those eager beavers are always so cute, until the gore starts to fly. Serral parks his lings up a ramp looking to see if he can set an ambush. Denver comes right on up to say hello. Oh, they're gonna discuss the next game. It's a heated discussion, and Serral breaks off. Serral's got 1 ling super low. Denver's gonna pursue. He's totally zeroed in. He's like, oh man, I gotta kill a Serral ling, gotta kill a Serral ling. He doesn't care that Serral's got a ling right behind him for vengeance. Serral's gonna try to deke around the mulberry bush to see if he can escape, and he does! And now it's Denver who has to run for his life. And while that was going on, we had our first tiny differentiation in build orders. Serral snags a quicker Baneling nest, while Denver gets a quicker 3rd hatch and Overlord. They're both gonna wind up at the exact same spot, they're just taking different routes to get there. Meanwhile, it looks like Denver's gonna be able to save his ling. He runs it back to the shelter of the Queen, and Serral has to pull back. Meanwhile, the theme continues with Serral being more aggressive. He's squeezed out 4 extra lings, while Denver squeezed out extra drones. And then somehow Serral catches up on drones anyway. How is that fair? Evolution chambers go down while Serral starts morphing in his first Baneling. Oh, ramp trap set for that scouting ling. The ling is torn to pieces and it's our first blood. According to my statistical analysis, that means there's a very high probability Serral will lose this game. Somehow I don't think that's gonna be accurate. And as we hit the 4-minute mark, you can see we've sort of hit that phase of the game where both players would love to slip a cheap 25 mineral ling into their opponent's base and get a look around. And Denver gets up the first ramp, but then he's caught. And on evaluating his info, or lack thereof, Denver decides he's going to drop a couple of extractors. That would give him a gas lead, except that Serral's doing exactly the same thing. They are still pretty mirrored. Oh, Denver tries another scout up that ramp. Perhaps the 3rd time's a charm. He gets around. He gets up into the main. And Serral's Queen snuffs him out. Oh, Serral is also going to compete in the Lone Star Ling running competition. He's going to try to slip in with a single ling. He gets into the natural. He gets into the main. And he's gonna get the full tour of duty. It's a great scout for Serral. The queen is on it. And he's gonna snake his way out. And he's even gonna attack a baneling. Oh, if he can get that, that would be a nice edge. Oh! Denver detonates it before he loses it. Serral also slips a bane into the natural and gets a 1-for-1 trade. This is a good time to mention one other key difference between the two players. Denver has decided to link his natural and his third with creep tumors. The prevailing wisdom in ZVZ is you don't bother with the creep because any advantage you get is just shared with your opponent. There's no right or wrong answer, it's just stylistic. Oh, another ling is in for Serral. Oh, now he's just showing off. He's like, I can get a ling scout of your base anytime I want, dude. He's like counting the coasters in his living room, rifling through his CD collection. That is until the queen rips him to pieces. Oh! But now Serral sends 7 lings into Denver's third. He's going after the queen. The baneling drives him off, but then he circles around and finishes off the queen. Denver's banelings kill the lings in the mineral line, but there's still 3 left. Serral decides to evacuate. He sends the lings to Denver's newly created 4th. And speaking of 4th base expansions, Serral has dropped one as well. He's only a few seconds behind, and he'll be more than caught up if his lings can force a cancel. Denver has made the leap into roach tech. Can he get them over for defense? He needs to save that hatch. Oh, never mind. The lings leave. They sense their window of opportunity is closed. And we've reached a phase of the game where the players can actually afford to scout with overseers. They're each going to take a pause and get an excellent look exactly where their opponents are at. And where are they? They're identical on workers, but Serral's got the bigger army, having won a number of exchanges. Oh, look at this. Red Denver has loaded up an overlord with 4 roaches. I like this. There's so many overlords flying around. It won't look suspicious, at least until he gets in real close. I love how there's like a dozen overlords just casually chatting to each other in the middle of the map. Maybe they're like having a rap battle or something. Oh, as soon as Denver's 4th finishes, Serral immediately comes back with his lings to cause havoc. He's going after the drones though, not the hatch. But the defending roaches are there. That super annoying ling trio escapes, but with their numbers cut down to 2. And under the safety of their roach guard, he can now Maynard his drones over to his 4th. Denver's catching up an army. He's actually got more roaches, but part of that's because Serral started morphing ravagers. That roach-loaded overlord is still making his way. He's curling around to the southwest. He's going to be able to drop on Serral's 4th. Oh, but I don't think he wants it. I think he's pushing even deeper for the 3rd. Meanwhile, Serral's roach ravager army is assembled and is controlling the center of the map. They'll be too far out of position to help with this mini roach drop. Oh, but there's a spore there. What a precaution. That and the queen are able to force that overlord out. That is savvy veteran experience. There's no mutas out in that map. Serral's army sees Denver grab the high ground and he decides to pull it back. And Denver's roach drop happens at the 4th. But he picks it up when Serral defends with exactly the same number of roaches. Meanwhile, neither of the main armies are ready to commit in the center of the map. Serral's brazenly morphing ravagers right in plain sight. Red Denver's drop returns. Oh, he only gets 1 roach down before the queen annihilates him. And on the heels of that failed drop, Serral decides now is the time to push in. His main army takes the high ground at Denver's 3rd. Nope, Denver's there and ready to make him fight for every inch. It's raining corrosive biles and everybody pulls back. Everyone's maxed. We're even on 4 bases. We're even on upgrades, even on army size, and even on workers. The macro's pretty much a draw. It's time to find out who can use their army the best. Nope. Actually, Serral decides this is neither the time nor the place, and he's pulling his army back home. There are currently 97 roaches on this map. I don't know about you, but I have the sudden urge to call a fumigator. Serral's definitely pulling back. I think he wants to fight on his own turf. And it looks like Denver's okay with those terms. Serral moves to intercept at his own ramp, and this time it's Denver who wisely pulls back. I'm really starting to like this kid. Red Denver goes for Serral's ramp rocks. Oh, and he corrosive biles an overlord right in front of Serral's army. Serral says, okay, good idea, and kills his overseer. Talk about your one-upmanship. Both armies are swinging left, each looking for an advantage. Denver's got a 7 roach hit squad by Serral's 4th. Serral knows about it. Oh, they're gonna clash outside the 3rd. It's the formal exchange of green saliva. There's more vomit than a frat house. Somehow Serral's able to keep his army maxed. And he's intercepted that hit squad. Denver makes the reads and decides this isn't the hill he wants to die on. He flees for Serral's 4th, but finds it reinforced with spine crawlers. He tries to escape by way of the bridge. but Serral has a force to cut him off. Denver's trapped like sardines with the worst concave imaginable. He's got to flee. He fights his way out and heads back home. He's quickly able to almost remax, but his bank has taken a beating. Well, part of that though is because he's teching up to a lurker den. Oh yeah, this game just went up a whole notch in coolness. This is also a good time to mention Denver's had tunneling claws since the 9-minute mark, but he's only just now finally getting a chance to use them. Serral will know this, because not only does he have overseers everywhere, roaches with tunneling claws become hipsters and have frosted tips. Check my frosted tips, yo! And while Serral is butchering those buried roaches, also dropped his own hit squad at Denver's 3rd, but they're getting cleaned up. In fact, the combined roach count has dropped to a paltry 92. Jeez. Oh, Serral's discovered Denver's newly created 5th, but Denver's defenders have a better concave and they drive him back. Oh, they're gonna follow. This could be costly for Serral. He's dropping in supply, or at least he was until he made another round. Serral knows he's got work to do. He drops a 5th of his own, and he's just about to get a head-on upgrades. For 12 seconds anyway, he decides that's the moment to turn back and attack. Once again, there's projectile frat boy vomit everywhere. But Denver's also got roach commandos on a special mission. They take the hits from the Baneling guards, and they're going after the roach warren. Serral's got to save that. He reveals his hydras. Meanwhile, his main force is evaporating in the center of the map. He sacrifices his roaches to cover for the escape for his ravagers. Mission accomplished! Roach warren down! Roach warren down! The roach commandos are trying to escape. Serral will not let them escape over the border. It looks like all the forces are going to converge on Serral's 5th, including all the new hydras for both sides. Brace yourself for a huge bloodbath. Seriously, the screams of all these dying roaches are just going to haunt my dreams. The quadruple hatches are working overtime to produce units to replace the dying. The giant mineral banks are evaporating and still the battle rages on. Serral can reinforce faster though. He's got fresh hydras coming in. There's not many roaches left to tank the hits. The hydras are trying not to slip on the pools of entrails as they fire their spines. And when the dust settles at the 12-minute mark, the units lost by resources is exactly identical. Oh, the futility. War. What is it good for? Besides an awesome Starcraft game, maybe. Well, one answer to a stalemate is to tech up. So Denver's finally bringing the lurkers. He's hatching 4 of them in the middle of the map. Serral looks to see if he can get at them before they hatch, but Denver's got a force there. The lurkers are gonna get on the field. They burrow and the pullback is immediate. Actually, the pullback is by Denver. Even though he's got the stronger army, he doesn't seem to like his position. Oh, I think I get it. Denver's sending a burrowed hit squad of roaches over to the left side of the map. He's gonna see if he can provoke an overreaction from Serral, and then when he splits off his forces, he's gonna attack with the main force. Or there's just gonna be another big bloodbath. I really can't tell anymore. I think when you just clash armies professionally for 10 hours a day, you get a real sense as to what's your moment of victory and what isn't. Well, the burrowed roaches are detected, and Serral is swinging over to intercept. They're in the 4th. There's 2 spines for defense, but they're not gonna last long. Denver does indeed use that as his moment to jump forward with his main force. There's now 2 significant battles happening at once, or at least there was until Denver sent his main force packing. And his hit squad's gonna try to burrow away from safety too before these hydras shred them. Or to quote Lando Calrissian, this is gonna be the shortest offensive of all time. Serral's now sent some roaches to Denver's 4th. We might just really be looking to free up supply. 'Cause he's got Vipers, and he's charging them up. Nope, they do not look any more attractive up close. But looky, Denver's got them too. ZVZ late game tech? You don't get to see this every day. In a Serral game, no less. This is gonna be a treat. But this is not a game of just treats, it's also a game of tricks. 2 ninja roaches stayed behind, and now they're making their way to the heart of Serral's base. It's the hunt for Red October. Ooh, there's a nasty blood bag as Denver's Hydra's snagging Overlord. Hope Serral brings up his Vipers. He's got 3 of them. Denver's looking to make a strike. He's got 2 Vipers. Denver always likes to attack while Serral double abducts both of his Vipers. Serral's Hydras assassinate them instantly. The force of Denver's attack has been completely blunted. Will Serral look to push his advantage? He's sending up his overseers to assist him with that decision. Denver's gonna retreat back further. They're both near maxed. Denver's trying to remake his Vipers. The overseers pop in, and the Vipers go fishing. They're pulling in lurkers. Oh! Oh, Serral, you genius!
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Oh, Denver's Red October Ninjas, by the way, they did manage to kill a queen, but they were eliminated by Serral's roaches. Oh, Serral's suddenly in attack mode. He plants a lurker at the third. He runs roaches into the main and the natural at the same time. Denver's got cleanup duty everywhere. 16, 17 workers dead in just an instant. 19, Serral's doing so much damage. Denver's got to stabilize before this gets his jugular. He's cleaned out the lurker. He's cleaning out the roaches in the main. Serral's moving up his main army behind this. There's still roaches in the natural. The drone death count is increased to 22. Denver does, though, have 6 Vipers, which gives him a more advanced composition to deal with Serral's main force. Serral's just got his original 3, but they are stone-cold killers. Serral tries to backdoor that 5th, but the lurker spines will make that impossible. But with Denver so far out of position, Serral might just rush his natural. Denver's on it. He's looking to reposition. His total drone count's exactly been cut by 50%. Oh, it's a triple abduction! Denver is shell-shocked. He taps out and Serral wins! OMG, Serral just got a guy to tap out whose army supply was 29 higher.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're stuck! We're stuck!
So, final thoughts. First off, props to Denver, man. I tried to set him up as some low-grade mook and he battled toe-to-toe with the best in the world. From the mid-game on, Denver's macro was equal or superior to Serral's. If it wasn't for Serral's more efficient unit trades, Serral could have actually lost this. Next, you have to be impressed by Serral's triple abduct. 6 Vipers to 3? No problem. You know what? I think we have to make that a certified micro moment. You know, Serral's won a few awards in his life, but this is the first time he's ever been bestowed this honor. Now, I'm not going to deny it. I was shocked when Denver tapped out. But reflecting on it, I get it. He was down 37 workers and he was being outmined 2-1 at that point. He was collapsing fast. But usually when you have that big of an army left, you at least throw it at your opponent one last time and see if you can get lucky and engineer a game changer. Personally, I think it was the psychological warfare. Serral's army was acting like it was twice the size at the end of the game. Aren't Serral's units all hero units anyway? You just don't get lucky against Serral. So, Denver did the honorable thing and called it a day. Personally, I'd be keen to hear your thoughts on if Denver made the right or wrong call and why. Either way, though, these two players brought us a heck of an entertaining game. All those peeps who avoid ZVZ games are going to miss out. So, thanks for coming on this one with me. So from my base to yours, Zug's weighing out.
To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Of course, you could always season upgrade and subscribe to Zugzang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zug's weighing out.